software. How it is possible to make available that class to our JDBC program? Simple question now. In core Java, how it is possible to make available a particular class to my program? Class is available, say for example, dot class file is available at E drive. My Java program is available at D drive. I need that particular dot class file to my Java program. So what I have to do? Exactly, we have to set what there? Class path environment variable. What do we have to use there? Class path environment variable. Got my point or not? So driver is available inside the database software. Driver is a dot class file. It is available in the database software. My Java program is available at a D drive. In my JDBC program, I need the driver class. If I want to use the driver class in my JDBC program, I have to set a class path environment variable to the driver class or not. Yeah, that's a point here we have to understand clearly. All right, sir. Now, driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems and its implementation classes are provided by all the database vendors in their database softwares. That's a point here. All right, sir. Now here, if you want to load driver class, if you want to load what their driver class, if you want to load driver class to the memory, first what we have to do there, first we have to make available driver class to the JDBC program, to what their JDBC program, JDBC application, that is indirectly to the JVM. JDBC program is executed by whom here? JVM only. Indirectly to what their? JVM. Understand it clear? So we have to make available the driver class to the JDBC program, that is JVM. So here what I'm telling there, for this we have to set, for this we have to set what environment variable, guys? Now tell me. Class path environment variable. Class path environment variable. Class path environment variable. Then how we are going to do this? An example I'm telling you, now try to understand this clearly. Set the class path environment variable. Right, then how we are going to do this? Observe carefully, guys. Have I installed Oracle database in my system? Have I installed Oracle database in my system? Yes, we installed it. Then where I installed it now, then what is my Oracle database there? Oracle 21XE. Am I right or not? Open it. Insert this Oracle 21XE. Then what is that one here now? DB Home XE. Insert this DB Home XE, JDBC. Insert the JDBC lib. JDBC 11.jar file is existed. What is the jar file is available? JDBC 11.jar file. This jar file contains our driver class. Oracle driver is available. Insert this JDBC 11.jar or JDBC 8.jar. JDBC 8.jar file is for the sake of Java 8 and above versions. JDBC 11.jar file is for the sake of what there? Is for the sake of Java 11 and its above versions there. Understand it clearly. So now here I want to go for what there? JDBC 11. As I'm going to use Java 17 version for my JDBC applications. No, I want to go for what there? JDBC 11. Is that clear about all of you know? So now here I need to get the jar file location. I have to get the jar file location here. Now slash JDBC 11.jar file is available. Let me copy this. Then here I'll provide like what there. Now set class path. Set a class path is equal to, we have to write this total path here semicolon. That's it. This is a command here we have to use. Is clear or not? So this is a way to set what their class path environment variable. But one small note. What is the note point I am telling there? If we use IDE like Eclipse, then we will add JDBC 11.jar file to the project build path. I'll give clarity what is the meaning of project build path. Understand, guys, what I'm telling you know? I'll provide like what there, if you are using IDE like Eclipse now, whenever we are using IDEs, we are not going to set a path or class path explicitly. Am I right or not? We are not going to do anything like what their path or set class path, no, nothing else. We are not going to use any command prompt here. So, but what we are going to do there, we are going to add the jar file to what their build path. Build path is nothing but class path only. In IDE's part here, I will show explicitly. Don't worry for it. In the future, no, that's okay, fine. Alright, sir. The next one is like what I'm telling to you after completion of this. That another point here I'm telling you. Observe carefully. I'm asking one more question to all of you guys. Now try to answer for it. No, listen carefully, all of you know. Type 1 driver you already aware, right? At least basic information. Type 1 driver. Now tell me who has provided this type 1 driver? Type 1 driver was provided by whom? Sun Microsystems or Oracle Corporation? Type 1 driver provided by whom? Sun Microsystems or Oracle Corporation? Sun Microsystems only. You know already the story. When Sun Microsystems has given driver interface, Sun Microsystems requested to all the database vendors to provide your own implementation. But before providing their own implementation, all database vendors have requested to Sun Microsystems about to provide one model implementation or showcase. The Sun Microsystems has provided a model implementation or showcase for the database vendors request now. That model implementation or showcase is called as type 1 driver. The type 1 driver was provided by Sun Microsystems in the same Java software. Type 1 driver has provided, type 1 driver was provided by Sun Microsystems in the same Java software. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? All right. Understand this clearly. If we use a type 1 driver in a JDBC applications, if we use type 1 driver in JDBC applications, then it is not required to set up class path environment variable. It is not required to set class path environment variable. Guys, all of you are getting this point here? If we use type 1 driver in JDBC applications, then it is not required to set a class path environment variable. Tell me guys, why it is not required to set class path environment variable? Why it is not required to set class path environment variable? What is the reason for it now? The reason is very simple. The reason is very simple. What is the reason here? That it is not required to set the class path environment variable. Why? Because, understand it clearly. Why? Because type 1 driver class was provided by Sun Microsystems in the same Java software along with Java predefined library. Observe carefully. In which way we are having exception class? In which way we are having exception class? In which way we are having thread class? In which way we are having array list class? In the same way that the sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver class is existed inside the Java software. Type 1 driver class is available inside what there? The same Java software. It is not available at any other location. It is available at the same Java software. All of you are getting my point or not? Now, just I'm giving the clarity when to set class path, when not to set class path. Only 2 points here are given. When we have to set class path now, tell me. When we are able to set class path there, when the driver class is available in a database software at some other location, there we have to set class path to get that. When it is not required to set class path environment variable, when we use type 1 driver, not required to set class path environment variable. Why? Because type 1 driver class was provided by Java, that is Sun Microsystems, in the same Java software along with the predefined library. Just import the statement is sufficient, not required to set what there? Class path environment variable. Yes sir, all of you get my point or not? Right, one more point here I'm telling you, try to understand this clearly. If you want to use type 1 driver, observe carefully guys. If you want to use type 1 driver in a JDBC application, then we must configure ODBC driver. We must configure ODBC driver in our system, in our computer. Am I right or not? We must configure what there? ODBC driver in our computer. But how we are able to configure it? How it is possible to configure it? I think already shown that, but in the document I want to include this. Now try to understand it clearly. How it is possible to configure that ODBC driver? See this one. If we want to configure ODBC driver, then what we have to go there? We have to go for control panel first. In a system search, we have to go for what there? Control panel. Right, sir. Control panel. Then inside this control panel, what we are able to do there, guys? Now tell me. Let's see this one. In control panel, go for what there? System and security. Select what there? System and security. System and security. That's okay. Then what next one here? After selecting system and security, then what we have to go there? Administrative tools. We have to select what there? Administrative tools. Select administrative tools. Right, sir. After selecting administrative tools, then what I have to go there? Here we have to click on what there? ODBC data sources 64-bit. Double click on it. Double click on what there? ODBC data sources 64-bit. ODBC data sources 64-bit. Alright, sir. 64-bit. Double click on it. Then what next one here after that? Now here we need to click on what there? User DSN. What we have to click there? User DSN. Maximum by default selected user DSN. But anyway, I'm giving clarity there. Select user DSN tab. Then after that, after selecting user DSN, what we have to click there? Click on add button. Click on what button there? Add button. Click on add button. Click on add button. When we click on add button, then what happened there? Come on guys, now tell me which database we want to connect there. To which database we want to connect through type 1 driver, that database here we have to select. Can you please check it now what databases are available here? Can you please check it now what databases are existed here with this particular one? Like here, we are having MS Access driver, Microsoft Access text driver, Microsoft Excel driver, leave all these things. MySQL ODBC 8.0 ANSI driver, MySQL ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver. Unicode is somewhat related with Java, right? Then better to select what there? MySQL ODBC 8.0. This is for the sake of what database now? MySQL ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver. For the sake of what database now? MySQL database. For the sake of what there? MySQL database. If you want to use type 1 driver with the MySQL database, that we have to select. Okay, for example, our database is what there? Oracle. If you want to select with Oracle, if you want to connect with Oracle, then what we have to select there? Oracle in ARA DB21 home 1. Oracle in ARA DB21 home 1, that we have to select. Depending on our requirement, with what database you want to connect, you have to select the respective database. At present, my option is what there? Oracle I want to select. As I installed Oracle database, of course, both I will show anyway. Right, I want to go for it. Now say for example, just give a minute of time. Let me delete the content here. Remove it. And remove it. I want to remove existing things. Now let me click on user DSN, add button. Now here, I want to select what there? Oracle in ARA DB21 home 1. Click on finish button. If I click on finish button here, let me go for it. Here, click on add button, that's okay, fine. Select the required database. Select the required database. Okay, that we have to select. Now in this case, what I'm going to select, you know, Oracle DB21 home. Alright, so that we selected here. Then what next one here? After selecting that, no, observe carefully. When we select this, what we are able to get there? Click on finish button. Click on finish button. Click on finish button. When we click on this finish button, here we have to provide only DSN name. Here we provided what there? DSN name. What we DSN name here? We have to provide there just with my name. I provided DSN name. Now I provided here. Observe carefully. Right. So then what next one here? Provide DSN name. provide DSN name. In block it I'm giving with my name. Of course, in our examples, we can go for what there? Your name. Got it or not? Right, sir. Provide DSN name. Then after providing this DSN name, then what next one here we have to do there? DSN name we provided, click on OK button. Then what next one here? Click on OK button. That's enough. There two times here we have to go there, click on OK button. Then again here, click on OK button. That's it. Now overall here, what we provided here, the DSN name is created. Sir, got it or not? Okay, fine. Now this is the case for what there? Oracle. In the case of Oracle here, we provided. Am I right or not? Now here, I'm telling to you clearly, if you want to select MySQL database, if you want to select MySQL database, then we have to provide the following details. What details here we have to provide there? Observe carefully. Guys, now let me check this here. Again here, administrative tools, ODBC data sources, user DSN, and click on add. What is my requirement now? My requirement is what there? MySQL database now. If I want to provide type 1 driver configuration, ODBC configuration for MySQL database there, MySQL ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver that I have to select. Then here, what I have to write there? Now here, first one is like what I'm telling to you. Select MySQL, what's that name here? MySQL ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver. Select MySQL ODBC 8.0 Unicode driver. That we have to select. Then what next one here? After completion of this here, no? Then click on finish button. Click on finish button. Click on finish button. After clicking on this finish button here, what we have to provide the data source name here we have to provide. MySQL connector ODBC. Please recognize this. Here what we have to provide the data source name here we have to provide. Say for example, I want to use the data source name is what there? Durga. What is the data source name I provided? Durga. Observe carefully. Provide the following details. What details here we are going to provide there? One is data source name. Now here we can understand Durga. I specified here. That is a data source name. Next one is after this. Listen carefully. Description is not required. TCP/IP server is not required. Port is by default what there? 3306. By default is available. Not required to change anything. Next one is here we have to provide user. What is that user there? No root. Am I right or not? Right, sir. Root. Password is what there? Root. Database is what there? At the time of installation of MySQL database, I created database or not? What database I created here? No, Durga DB I created or not? As yesterday I shown that both the databases, no. In MySQL database I shown already how to create database there. Durga DB I created. So what we have provided there? No, data source name is Durga. User is what the root. Password is what the root. Database is what the Durga DB. All the details here we have to provide. Right, sir. Data source name. Next one is what there? User, root, password, root. Then after that, database name. That is what there? Durga DB, which you already created there clearly. Right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, then what next one here we have to do there? Click on OK button. Now here Durga is created. We can observe this clearly. Click on OK button and then click on OK button. Right, sir. Two times here we have to click on OK button. Alright, sir. Now here. Click on OK button. Next one. After that. That's it. Overall, in this way here we are able to prepare what there? ODBC configuration here we are able to provide. But when it is required, guys, now tell me. When ODBC configuration is required? Is this ODBC configuration is required in all the drivers or in only one driver? In only type 1 driver. In the case of only type 1 driver, that ODBC configuration is required. It is not required in all the drivers. Please remember this. It is not required in all the drivers. Type 4 driver if I use no. Type 4 driver if I use no, where we don't require what there, this ODBC configuration. Right, that's okay, fine. Fine, sir, whatever it may be. Finally, what is the information here we are getting there now? So, understand it, how to configure ODBC driver here we understood clearly up to now. But my next point is what there? Either through class path environment variable or inside the Java software, wherever it may be, driver class is available with me. Driver class is available to the Java program. Am I right or not? Driver class is available to the Java program. Right, understand clearly what I am telling to you. What is the step number here? Right, sir, fifth one. All right. Driver class is available. Observe carefully. When driver class is available to JDBC application, we have to load and register driver class. For this, we have to use the following method. For this, we have to use the following method from java.lang.class. What is this method here we have to use there? Observe carefully. Public what happens, sir? Right, sir. Public, observe carefully, public, right, sir, public static class for name method, for name of string class, driver class, fully qualified name of the driver class, and throws class not found exception. What exception here we are getting there? Class not found exception. Now example code I am telling you, now try to observe this code. Multiple class are available, now try to recognize this. What are the multiple things now? Now here, class dot for name of sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. Guys, now tell me, this is a class for what there? This is for which driver? Now tell me. This is for which driver there? Sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. This is for what driver there? Now tell me. This is for type 1 driver or not? No response, guys. This is for what there? Type 1 driver provided by Sun Microsystems. Right, sir. Now this is for what there? Type 1 driver. That's okay, good. Next one, after that, I want to go for other one here. Say for example, class dot for name of, I want to go for like what there? Oracle dot JDBC dot what next one here? Oracle driver. This is for what purpose there? No, Oracle driver. Understand this clearly. Next one is another example. Anyway, one driver we are going to use, but examples I am telling to you. Next one is like what there? Class dot for name of. Here we are able to use like what there? Com dot MySQL dot CJ dot JDBC dot driver. This is what there? MySQL driver. So these many drivers are existed here, we can understand. These many drivers are available. Either of these things here we can use it. Not required to go for all of them. Alright, so that's okay, fine. Now, in this way here we are able to provide what there? We are able to load and register the driver. But what will happen there? When we execute this instruction, then what will happen? What JVM is performing the actions now? Alright, the point is like what there? When we execute the above code, when we execute the above instructions, what JVM will do there? JVM will perform the following actions. I think so. In the case of these introduction classes, I have given these options here. What are the various things are performed by JVM there? Now tell me guys, what is the first action here? Now tell me. Come on, I'm giving that oral information. Try to understand it. No. First JVM will take the provided class name. Fully qualified name with respect to driver class. JVM will take it. JVM will search for this class at 3 locations. What are the 3 locations now? Current location, Java predefined library, and the locations referred by class path environment variable. If the required dot class file, required driver dot class file, is not available at all three locations, no, JVM will raise an exception. What is that exception here? We are able to get there java.lang. Class not found exception we are able to get. What is that exception here? We are able to get there java.lang. Class not found exception. Understand it clearly. For example, if this driver class file is available at either of these three locations, either at current location or maybe Java predefined library or at the locations referred by class path environment variable. If this driver class file is available at either of these three locations, then immediately what JVM will do now? JVM will take the driver class, JVM will load the driver class bytes code to the memory. JVM will take the driver class and JVM will load the driver class bytes code to the memory. Sir, all of you are following or not? Alright, sir. Now let me have some points here. Now try to understand it now. Already explained that, but once again I'm explaining the total point here now. Right, so now JVM will take the driver class from for name method and JVM will search for the driver class file at the following locations. Alright, sir. Class file at the following locations. What are the locations? Can you understand it clearly? First one is at a current location. And second one is what there? At Java predefined library. And third one is what there? At the locations referred by what environment variable? Class path environment variable. You know already these points came out. Alright, sir. Class path environment variable. Locations referred by class path environment variable. Right. Point number 2. Observe carefully. What I'm telling you after completion of this. Alright, sir. Understand it. Here the point is what there. If the required class file is not available at all the above locations. If the required class file is not available at all the above locations, then what will happen there? Then JVM will raise an exception. JVM will raise an exception like what there? Java.lang. Class not found exception. That's it. JVM is able to raise an exception like what there? Java.lang. Class not found exception that we are able to get. Sir, all of you are getting my point or not? This is what exactly the exception here we are able to get clearly. Next one, after completion of this, point number 3. Observe carefully. For example, if the required driver.class file is existed at either of the above locations, then JVM will load driver class bytes code to the memory. Driver class bytes code to the memory. Observe carefully. What is this point here? What we are getting from this point here? Understand these points, no? When this driver.class file is not available at the specified locations, no? Then what will happen there, no? JVM will raise an exception. In the case, if the driver.class file is available at the specified locations there, then what will happen there? JVM will load the driver class bytes code to the memory or not? JVM will load the driver class bytes code to the memory or not? Now here the story will start. Now try to understand this point here. What is the point here I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. The fourth point. At the time of loading driver class bytes code to the memory, all of you observe carefully. At the time of loading the driver class bytes code to the memory, static block will be executed. You know already, static blocks are available in Java. Static blocks will be executed at the time of loading class bytes code to the memory only. At the time of loading a particular class bytes code to the memory, automatically a static block will be executed. Inside the static block, driver manager dot register driver method will be executed. What method will be executed there? No, driver manager dot register driver method will be executed inside the static block. Understand the point? What I'm telling you, know? Right, sir. At the time of loading, driver class bytes code to the memory, JVM will execute a static block. JVM will execute what there? Static block. Where inside the static block, JVM will execute driver manager dot register driver method. Manager dot register driver method. Understand this clearly. At the time of loading driver class bytecode, the static block will be executed. Inside the static block, what method will be executed here? Driver manager dot register driver method. This method will register JDBC driver with our application. This method will register our JDBC driver with our application. Now that means what's the meaning of it now? The driver will be available for our applications directly. The driver will be activated between Java application and database. Last point. What is that last point here I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. After loading driver class bytecode, JVM will create java.lang.class object with the metadata. What's that one? With the metadata of the driver class in a heap memory. After loading driver class bytecode the memory, JVM will create java.lang.class object with the metadata of the driver class in heap memory. That's it, guys. Now this is totally like what exactly the internal flow of like what they're executing. That means load and registration of the driver clearly. Come again, what exactly the point can I discuss with you? All of you observe carefully. Point by point I have written that. Now try to recognize this now. But overall information is very clear. Try to understand the points here, what I am telling to you now. Load and register the driver is our actual step. Okay. But if you want to load the driver, first of all, we have to make available the driver to the JDBC program. If you want to make available driver to the JDBC program, first we have to understand where is the driver class actually. Where the driver class are available, that we have to understand clearly. Where the driver class are available, here we have some situations. What are the situations? Driver is an interface provided by Sun Microsystems, and its implementation class are provided by database vendors in their database product only. Means that we understood primarily database, that means driver is available at their database software only, not inside the Java software. Anyway, the database I installed in my system now, my Java program is also available in the same system but at two different locations. Nice. If you want to load and register the driver, first you have to make available the driver class to the JDBC program. To make available the driver class to the JDBC program, we have to set class path environment variable. We have to set what there? Class path environment variable to the location where jar file is existed. That means where the driver class is existed. Example I shown like there in Oracle database where it is available C:/Oracle 21xe db home xe JDBC lib OJDBC 11.jar. Their only driver class is available. Leave this one now. Good. If we use type on driver in our JDBC applications, not required to set class path environment variable to make available driver class to the JDBC program. Why? Because type on driver class was already provided by Sun Microsystems in the same Java software. Type on driver is already available in what there? Same Java software. Not required to set a class path environment variable. Part of the predefined library, it is available. Good, nice. Then after that. But if you want to use type on driver in JDBC applications, what we have to do there? We have to configure ODBC driver. How we are going to configure ODBC driver? What is the path I have given there? Go for the control panel. Where? Inside this, go for like what there? System and security. Then inside this, administrative tools. Inside the administrative tools, then what we are able to get there? Like ODBC data sources, 32-bit there. That is the 64-bit that we selected. Double click it there. After that, we are getting a window where we have to select user DSN, Click on add button. There we have to select what there. Oracle DB21 home. Like this, we have ODBC driver, we have to select. If it is a MySQL database, if you want to select that, we have to select there. If we select it, click on finish button. There another window will be open. There we have to provide data source name. After providing the data source name, just click on what there, OK button. In the case of MySQL, what we have to provide there? Data source name we have to provide, username we have to provide, password we have to provide. Next one is what there, database name also here we have to provide. Then after providing all the details, now click on OK button and another OK button. If you click there, the total process will be completed. Finally, ODBC driver will be created for our data source. This is type 1 driver situation there. Fine. For example, if the driver is available either through class path or through like what there, without the class path, whatever it may be, if driver class is identified by JVM, then immediately what JVM will do there, JVM has to load driver class bytecode to the memory or not. To load driver class bytecode to the memory, we are going to use a predefined method from java.lang.class. What is that predefined method we are using there? Class.forName method. Yes, sir. What is the method here we are using there? Class.forName method. Class.forName of method of three drivers here I have given as an example. Class.forName of sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. Class.forName of oracle.jdbc.oracle driver. And class.forName of form.mysql.cg.jdbc.driver. These many driver classes here we provided. In the case, when we execute the above instruction, JVM will perform the following actions. What are the various actions which are performed with JVM? No, first JVM will take the provided driver class name from the class.forName method. JVM will search for the driver class.class file at three locations. What are the three locations? No, at the current location, at Java predefined library, and at the locations referred by class path environment variable. If your driver.class file is not available at all the three locations, if driver.class file is not available at all three locations, there definitely JVM is able to raise an exception. That exception would be like what there, java.lang.class not found exception here we are able to get. In the case, for example, if driver class.class file is available at either of these three locations, no, JVM will load this driver class bytecode to the memory. At the time of loading driver class bytecode to the memory, JVM will execute a static block. Every driver class is going to have one static block. Now driver, JVM is going to execute what there? A static block. At the time of executing static block, inside the static block, driver manager.register driver method is available. The driver manager.register driver method will be executed by JVM. By the execution of this particular method only, the JDBC driver, the type 1 driver or whatever it may be, the driver is going to be available for our JDBC application. Now the driver is going to be activated between Java application and database. Then by this we are able to access the data through this particular driver. Next one, after completion of this, then what next one here? After completion of this one, when this driver class bytecode is loaded to the memory, immediately JVM will create java.lang.class object at keep memory with the metadata of the loaded class. You know already one point here. Whenever a class bytecode is loaded to the memory method area, automatically java.lang.class object will be created at heap memory or not? Definitely java.lang.class object will be created at heap memory. In the same way, for the sake of this driver class loading also, java.lang.class object will be created at what memory there? Heap memory with the metadata of the loaded driver. This is what exactly this scenario is available in the case of like what there? Step number 1. Yes, sir, got my point or not? But some points here I want to say to you, try to understand it clearly. Note 1. All of you observe carefully. Note 1. Type 1 driver is available in Java. Come on guys, now tell me, already given this point there. Type 1 driver is available in Java up to JDK 1.7 version, not existed from JDK 1.8 version onwards. So if you want to work with the type 1 driver, your Java version must be what? Come on, if you want to work with the type 1 driver, then your Java version must be what? 1.7 or less than 1.7. That's the point here we have to recognize. Next one here. Observe carefully, another point here. These points are also important for us. Try to understand it now. load and register driver step is optional when we use JDK 1.8 version and Oracle 11xe. Are getting my point or not? So load and register driver step is optional when we use JDK 1.8 version or JDBC 3.0 version and Oracle 11xe. If you are using Oracle 11xe or 11g, whatever it may be, from that point onwards, load and register the driver step is optional. Right, sir. Right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, another point I am telling to you, try to observe this clearly. Load and register driver step is optional when we use these many parameters. Next one. Load and register driver step is optional when we use JDK 1.8 version, comma JDBC 3.0 version and what next one here, MySQL 5.8 version onwards. Now at present, which version of the MySQL is available? What is the latest version there? 8.0, 8.3, I think so. Latest version is available. But right from 5.8 version onwards, load and register the driver step is what there? Optional. Not required to do this. Observe carefully. In all the above cases, JVM will load and register the driver. JVM will load and register the driver when we establish connection between Java application and a database. Guys, observe carefully what I am telling there. Without the loading and registration of the driver, we are unable to prepare JDBC program, damn sure. But optional cases are available. In all these optional cases here, what I am telling to you, in all the optional cases, here the point is like what there. In all the optional cases, we are not doing that, load and register the driver step explicitly. But when we establish the connection, automatically JVM will load the driver, required driver class bytes go to the memory. It's going to be performed automatically when we establish the connection. Is it all of you are getting it or not? Right, so now this is what exactly the meaning of like what there optional cases here I'm telling to you. Two cases here I'm telling there about like what there about this Oracle and as well as like what there MySQL. Even that one more note here I'm telling to you, observe carefully. Right, sir. Load and register driver step is optional in the case of type 1 driver also. In the case of type 1 driver also, load and register the driver step is what there? Optional. Everybody, understand my point here. But remember carefully, from driver to driver class is varied. By seeing the driver class name, we can understand which driver we are using. Driver URL is going to be varied. By seeing the driver URL also, we can understand which type of driver we are using in JDBC applications. Okay? Right, sir. Next one is, I need to show like what there, that internal code. How these drivers are having some internally, some static blocks. How these static blocks are executed. Part of the static blocks, driver manage.register driver method is executed. How this method is executed, then all the concepts here we have to understand with some internal code there, right? So that internal code and the remaining part I will discuss within tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to see like what there. Again, one time I will give that overall explanation, then tomorrow max I will go for establish connection between Java application and database. Only these steps here we have to follow. Then after completion of this one by one, we are going to finish it. Once if I complete all the steps, now continuously next 6 or 7 programs I am going to prepare on JDBC. Continuously all the programs we are going to see on JDBC clearly, right? That's all guys, that's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. Again I'm telling there, some of your coming for the classes and a late joinees, right? Any of your late joinees for this class? No. Any of you are coming to the class late, that means 3 days or 4 days late, leave it. All of you are getting video support. All of you are getting video classes there. Then this is a default service for all of you know. Then try to get it. If you are not getting videos there, then try to send your details to this number. Immediately all people will give updations to you. They will give the access link to you know. But everybody must get these links now, right? Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see the remaining part tomorrow. Thank you. Yes, is there ready? What you are asking there? Then that's it. Yeah, we have to understand the driver class names. Just it's a by default. Just we have to know what driver classes here we are having there. The classes names here we have to understand that. Definitely, it's a by practice we are able to remember all the driver class names. No to think much about it. Windows 7, which DB it will work, sir? Windows 7 we are using now. Maybe Oracle 10G or 10XE like this. Yeah, please check that. Check the content, guys, and check what I'm telling to you. Okay. Check the manual there. There we are able to get the content totally. Okay. Right, sir. Yeah. If you forget nothing, sir, it's a simple class only. Anyway, then everything is available in the documentations, right? Everything is available in what the documentations. So for every product there is a manual. Some details are going to be available. In the details they are going to be existed. Okay. Yeah. Then older versions only are supported. Then better to upgrade to Windows 10 or something else. No better. Why? Because it will be the problematic thing throughout our courses. No. Not only today, maybe in the future also we may get some problems there. If you are using like what there, Windows 7, then better to upgrade your operating system. That will be good thing. Why? Because so now at present Java 17, Java 19 is going on there. Then on Java Windows 7 maybe may not be worked out. Yeah, in the documents you are able to get Abhishek. You go for Oracle documentation, yeah. Hmm? Right. And moreover, in our project, how many drivers you want to use, Abhishek? Now, please confirm to me. In the project, in general, max one database only we are going to use, right? One database in the sense one driver only we are going to use. One driver in the sense max we are going to use type 4 driver. Type 4 driver is what there is a fixed name, fixed class name, and driver URL is going to be available. That's it. But standardly, if you want to check it, no, and we have to go for that Oracle documentation or MySQL documentation. There we can see that JDBC support and driver class names and all. There we are able to get the required things. That's the point I'm telling you. Right. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot.